Alright folks, today we're going to put the hydraulic lines on. I already got the hydraulic pump on there where I ain't got it fixed where y'all can see that end of it. Let me see here. Yeah, we're going to get it there. There's the hydraulic pump right here. These lines come around here and they come off the hydraulic system right here. It's kind of tricky, kind of tight fit also. You got to make sure that these O-rings stay in place over here. Some O-rings right in there that seal this part. Over here is the gasket. Maybe get this wire over here out of the way. There, we're gonna see if we can get a bolt in this thing. That ain't gonna cooperate with me. Got the wrong socket. Get a bolt in this thing right here. I put new bolts on it because the old bolts are so rusty. They just didn't want to do right. If I can get another bolt in here. Got to get all this stuff started before do the other end. We got one more. We got to get down here on the bottom. All right, that one started handy. Now I gotta. Them O-rings probably stayed in place right there. This other one on the bottom over here. Yeah, y'all know y'all can't see me with my head in the way, but I can't see the boat unless I get my head in the way. That's one of them deals, you know. Alright, we got the hydraulic lines on there. I tightened all this up. Got all these tightened up. It's all good. I can add oil to the hydraulics now. And I'm gonna, when I get all the oil and everything, I gotta bleed. I gotta read the book how to bleed this pump where this oil will make it all the way down there to that pump, because that pump can burn up real quick. Anyway, and I went to town this morning and got new belts. Got all the belts. Finally found all the right belts for this thing. Got them on here. I'm waiting on another piece to come in. It fits here for the bottom hose of the radiator. Got this top hose on here now ready, and waiting on my customer to bring me this fitting here. He picked up a box of parts from here the other day. I let him take it, and it's my fault. I should have kept it here, but I needed that one piece. So he's gonna bring it to me when he gets a chance. All right, got all the hydraulic lines on a while ago. I'm gonna fill this touch control hydraulics up with oil. See if we can make it work. I can't start the engine yet, but I can crank it over. See if we get oil pressure and movement out of this deal. May have to wait till I get the radiator and everything on to do all this, but I'm gonna try anyway. I gotta go get 2 more quarts of oil. I'll be right back. Got 2 more quarts of oil, and the oil's right there. So we don't want that spilling around there. All right, I got to go around here to the other side, pour a little oil in the pump. I'll be right back. Yep, I'm waiting on this piece here. You can't install the radiator or nothing until you get that piece, because this piece got to go on there, and then the radiator's got to come to it. You never get this hose on if you don't put it on when you put the radiator on. I mean, I imagine it can be done, but it's easier to do it that way than, so it's just easier to wait. I got plenty of other stuff I need to do anyway. And I did crank the engine over the other day and got oil pressure. Oil pressure, got oil coming up through the rocker arms like it's supposed to. And so oil pump is working. And I finally found belts to fit this thing. Found them at Baumgard's in town. Got the alternator all in place. Fan on here. I'm waiting on a piece to put here for the bottom radiator hose so I can install the radiator and everything. So I was going to put a water pump on it, but the water pump wouldn't work because it got in the way of these belts and stuff here. It was just going to be too busy. And this tractor doesn't need a water pump anyway. It didn't have one on it before. I spent yesterday cleaning up all this, make all this, these wires where they can be out of the way, and did all that. I put wire loom on everything, clamped these down right here. This coming up here, the hydraulic temperature gauge. Got the battery in there, got it all hooked up. It fits in there real nice. And come around here, did the same thing on this side. I've got everything protected. Run up here to the coil, down here to the coil. This doesn't necessarily need any wire loom on it because it's just there. And I took all the distributor cap and everything off because I had to get it out of the way to put this hydraulic on. Got that done the other day. It's all touched up. Today, I'm going to install the fuel tank and went to town yesterday and bought some copper tubing, run a fuel line down to the carburetor. That's going to be a tedious job, so I probably won't film it until after it's done. And there ain't nobody going to want to sit around and watch me struggle. Anyhow, that's what I did yesterday. And also I had to do a little remodeling on this throttle control, because when you push the throttle up, when you push the throttle up, the lever had a piece wore out and it wouldn't lock in place on these teeth right here. So I had to file these teeth out, and I got the handle here. Had to repaint it, and here's where I welded this up and filed it down to where it'd catch. I had to redo this handle. Well, folks, today I've been working at installing the radiator. I reinstalled the gas tank. I had to take the gas tank off because the new sediment bowl that I bought, the first one, it was made in China, and they wouldn't cut the gas off. The gas would still drip through it. So I had to take the gas tank back off and put another one in there. And here's the one over here that was made in China. And I took this valve out of it right here and looked down in there, and there's a scoring in the surface where this brass is supposed to cut the gas off. It's junk. I didn't realize it was made in China when I bought it. But I bought another one, and it still ain't made in the USA, but it's made in India, and I tested it before I put it on the tank, and it seals off. So I reinstalled the gas tank. It's all ready to go. Put some silicone hose. I was gonna run copper. But I bought some silicone hose because silicone won't rot like rubber will. And plus the copper that I fabricated to put on there I didn't like the way it looked anyway. It was ugly. So anyway, and now I was gonna get all this done and crank it, but the old carburetor I sent off to get it rebuilt, well, it wasn't working right. It was just pouring gas all the way through it. And the owner come over yesterday, and I was telling him about it, and he said, I remember now. He said, my dad told me that he had it rebuilt some years ago, and the guy that rebuilt it said the carburetor was wore out, so he just told me to order a new one. So I ordered a new one, and it won't be here till about Tuesday next week, so we won't be able to fire it up until then. But right now, I've been working at this job getting this radiator on here, because down here, this bottom hose, I don't know if y'all can see it, you got to put that on there, and you got to line this top hose up at the same time. Plus, you got to get these rubber washers in the bottom for cushion and line them up and put it all in at one time. So that's why I didn't video doing all that, because y'all probably get aggravated and quit watching the video. So anyway, I got to tighten these bolts up. I got the radiator set in place, both hoses on. Put the fan shroud on. I'm gonna put it on here and put this camera on the stand where y'all can at least see me do that, and get that all bolted up. And I'm putting, instead of the old standard fine thread nuts on it, I'm putting self-locking nuts on there, so there won't be any vibration, any danger of coming loose. And anyhow, let me put this thing on the stand so y'all can at least watch me do that. Be back. All right, we're gonna try to line these bolts up. Get this thing all lined up, put together. Oops, that one here. There we go. Now we got it. Yeah, I put a little bit of grease on these threads just so it takes some of the strain off of it. Tighten it up. Tighten these up. We'll tighten all this up before I tighten them bottom radiator bolts. I want to get this in place and tighten them bottom bolts up. That way I can spin this engine over, make sure nothing, the fan is going to hit anything or anything bottom of the shroud or anything like that. It looks like I got plenty of clearance, but I want to make sure that it's not going to hit anything. I'm going to spin it over. Once I get this shroud tight. Crank the engine over, make sure nothing hits. Then I'm going to tighten them bottom bolts up. And tighten them bottom bolts up. And then spin it again and make sure nothing hits. All right, got that tight. Now, let me get over here and spin this engine over a little bit with the starter. Make sure nothing hits. I got to put my ground cable back on. Yeah, everything's clear there. Now I'm gonna get over here and move the camera over here. Maybe y'all can see. These are a little pain here. I needed my youngest grandson here today with his little finger to get them nuts on the bottom. They're in a bad spot. Somebody with both big fingers hard to get that nut started in that tight spot. This is tedious right here because you can't turn it. We did about 1/8 of a turn at a time. They could have done a little better, but I guess in 1948 they didn't care. Anyway, I like working on these old tractors, even though some of it is a pain in the patoot. But they're simple, and for the most part, they're really easy. Just little things like this, it gets to you sometimes. But I'll get her done. These are fine thread bolts also, so it takes a minute to get them up there where they need to be. So everything takes a minute. I should have had them run up a little bit more before I started all this, but I didn't think about it. I was going to put self-locking nuts on these too, but there wasn't enough room to put the self-locking nuts on here and clear the frame here. So it's going to have to either, but I did put some Loctite on them so they won't come loose maybe. I've never had one come loose anyway, but on any other ones. Come on, baby. Yeah, we're going to get there pretty quick. It's starting to look like a tractor again. The owner's supposed to be bringing me some tires and wheels. Probably be after Thanksgiving before I get them so I can get it on its 4 feet and get it off this rack. But I can run it sitting on this rack. It won't hurt nothing. It's bolted down. It won't go nowhere. This one here it was a little tough. I ran the threads on it and everything, but it's still a little tough getting it on there handy. So I got to use a wrench on this one. These are the original bolts that came in this tractor. I took them out, cleaned them up, sandblasted them, run the threads on them, painted them. Then I had to run the threads on them again because I painted them, you know, get the paint off of them. And I'll touch it all up whenever I get done. I'll get a little bit more on it now that I can get the box end on there. Couldn't get the box end on there to start with. Alright, I got that one tightened up finally. And I'll show you here in just, let me go get a bolt. Alright, what was happening on this side, these are carriage bolts. See how they got a squared deal under the head like that? Well, that bolt had slipped up out of the groove. It fits in a groove in this base right here, keeps this from turning. It had slipped up out of that base, and it was just turning on there. And I didn't know it. I got my light and I looked up in there and said, well, daggone, that's why it wouldn't tighten up. But that's what was happening on this side. But I got it tight, and I got this one almost tight. So that's what was happening. I didn't see it, didn't know it. And this one here, it's all in good shape. It's going to tighten down. So anyway, that's things you run into. I've been there all day doing it like I was until I stopped and looked and see what was going on. It's hard to see up in there. And all right, I got these all tightened down. Now I'm gonna go spin the tractor over and make sure nothing hits again. I'm gonna do it one more time. I don't think it will because everything looks like it's clearing real good. Yeah, we're gonna make sure. Yep, everything's good. Now all I gotta do Now all I gotta do is put the clamps on the radiator hoses, top and bottom. These down here are gonna be a pain in the patoot, because where they are. But we're gonna make it work. Anyhow, you can see it's tight down in there. Doggone it. Everything. But I got it all put together. I just wish I had my carburetor. We could fire it up today if I had the carburetor, but I don't have it. Anyhow, that'll be next week when I get it in there Tuesday. I'm gonna fire this bugger up, let it run, see what happens. Talk to y'all later. Like and share, subscribe. That's Walter. We'll see you later.